Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild. All his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, and with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, current semi-professional hockey player Hunter Ellens of the Gaylord Snow of the Michigan Independence Hockey League. Hunter is in his third year in the MIHL, with this year being named captain of the Gaylord Snow. Prior to turning pro, Hunter spent time in the ACHA with Davenport University for college hockey. So this is going to be a really fun and exciting episode. I'm glad to get a fellow MIHL player on the show. So welcome to the show, Hunter Ellens.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no problem. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Glad to get you on and talk some MIHL. But to start things off, like, how have you been? Like, you're in Gaylord, right? Or you're playing for Gaylord right now. So how's everything with that?
That it's been pretty good. It definitely, I would say, started off rockier than what we expected. Just not everyone, I guess you could say, committing fully, and then just kind of getting everyone that's supposed to be on the roster like there to actually show up. And then we made some cuts. We brought in some people, and like we're still continuing to bring in people. Like Artie, he just got released from Motor City, and we picked him up, so he'll be playing with us this weekend for his first weekends with us. So that'll be nice. But it's this season has just like progressively gotten better. Obviously there's highs and lows, but as long as it's continuing to grow in the right direction that you want as a team, I don't think that you can really complain about that. So it's starting to become a lot better. So it's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, that's the biggest thing is like, once you get everyone to commit and everything, like, it goes from like being rocky, like you said, to being a lot smoother and everything. Cause you get guys to show up and everything. And then you just get to I know you guys practice a lot, and just to have that committed group to help you guys win.
Yeah, and I wish we would practice more. So I live in Grand Rapids, so I go up to Gaylord on the weekends, like when we have home games. And so how we do it is we'll have a practice Friday night. Normally it's at 8 or 8:30, and then we'll have a next like Saturday morning skate at 8 a.m. And then we'll have the one singular game on Saturday instead of two. So this weekend we have 2 games, so I'm looking forward to that. I haven't done a little 2-game stint in a little bit, so I'm excited to get after that.
Yeah. So who are you guys playing this weekend?
We're playing the Sharks, so that'll be a really good matchup for sure. I'm really excited for that because they're signing new players. We're signing new players. We're starting to overcome Muskegon and become the better team out of the two. So I feel like it's going to be the long haul, us and the Sharks. So it's exciting. This weekend, I feel like we'll show a lot as well too, because it's back-to-back games. So it's a pretty big weekend for the boys. So we're all pretty excited about it.
Absolutely. I love that. I love the 2 day two game weekends. Like
Yeah,
you always get revenge if you lose the
yeah,
first game, you always get revenge. If you win, you guys gotta hold the fort and just take another win.
yeah. It's the best part about it. Because if you don't win on Friday, then you got Saturday. But if you win on Friday, then it gives you even more reason to want to win again on Saturday. So
Yeah, absolutely. And like you just want to keep winning and winning. And like Waterford and you guys are just looking really solid right now. So I'm excited to see like just to get to play you guys in a couple weeks here and
yeah,
just to see how the rest of the league is.
yeah. No, it's I would say from previous years, this year is probably the best that the league has been, um, player wise. I feel like a lot of more talent is starting to come into the league, and it's to me, it's like a stepping stone to get to the Fed or the SP or wherever you want. But it's nice to see that it's becoming a lot more competitive, a lot more skilled. You're starting to see a lot of more Fed guys, SP guys that are just randomly pop in maybe for a couple games, just a weekend, or they're there for however long until they get picked up by a new team. So it's nice to see that the league and like the teams are actually kind of taking it more serious and are able to get these types of players in to their organizations, which helps obviously make the league look better itself too. So it's heading in the right direction, I would say. So that's nice.
Yeah, so like what do you think's helped lead to all the like the success, especially this season with getting like like Fed SB players coming in for those couple games and just growing the league overall.
So it's to me, it's I don't really know like where half of these kids are coming from. You know what I mean? So like they could have just like beginning of the season, like I wasn't even planning on going there. One of my teammates who's there with me right now as well, Nick Allen, him and I were at Motor City's camp, and we PTO'd with them and everything, and it was looking pretty good. So we weren't looking back to going to Gaylord at all. So then that happened, and so we went there, and it was kind of like, all right, we got to pick everything back up and start going. But I feel like that's how a lot of the teams are this year, especially the Sharks, because I know that they've picked up a few guys that have dropped out of the Fed and out of college this past year as well too. So um, I just feel like that it's becoming more recognizable because of maybe just certain players who could be in it, and they know another person, and they're just like, hey, come here. It's still really good hockey. You know what I mean? And it can still get you good highlights and good clips, and make you still want to actually try because you're going out there and it's like kids that are actually wanting to progress themselves and move on each year. So um, it's hard to say what is exactly doing it. I mean, you got to give credit to each team themselves, for picking them up however they did. But I feel like it's almost gaining a little more recognition to where people might get let go from a league and like not know where to go, and they could just instantly just like kind of float to a team here until they get picked back up or something.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like a development league for guys that want
Yeah,
to progress to the Fed and the SP, like you said. And like this
yeah,
year was, or like last year was the first time I heard about it. And like I've gone to Fed SB camps this
mm,
fall and this summer. So like just have that experience and then being able to come to a league and to a team that's all about like developing players and just like trying to like get you to the next level. And it's been a lot of fun and like like the league is competitive. Like every single team
absolutely.
has
Yeah,
Fed SB guys on the team, and
and
like
that's
I'm looking at the roster, I'm like, wow.
yeah. I don't think a lot of people realize that either. So it's like they kind of take a step forward. It's like maybe like kind of looking into it a little more. Then I feel like that a lot of people will be kind of shocked, especially if you just go under their rosters and look at previous players' EPs and where they've played before that. A lot of people in the Fed or in the mill, a lot of them are like in that area, like they live in that area,
Yeah.
so like it works out perfectly for them because they got either their full-time job that they really can't leave anymore. Maybe they're just a little older in age, but they still love playing hockey, but they have family and all that stuff. Like works out perfect for them. But like the league has a lot of sleepers like that, like a lot of players that are like super like talented, but can't and won't go anywhere. So like back to I guess the previous question that you asked too, it's like that as well. It's like a lot of like hometown people are kind of just like coming out and like, making it happen. And that's nice to see as well. Um, but I mean, especially just with all the drops, I feel like it's just when people I feel like first got wind of like the league, I feel like that it was just kind of taken personally as a joke, which to myself it kind of was as well. I was like, okay, what is this? But as it's gone on, and as I've played 2.5 seasons with Gaylord, it's the farthest thing from that. And it's like we've said in already, it's a developing league that wants to get players out. We don't want people to stay. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's people that want to stay and be there, but
Yeah.
there's still quite a big percentage of kids in this league that want to move on. So who knows?
Yeah, exactly. And like just when like from like my one game experience so far, like just playing against Waterford, like there's guys that played in the Fed and drop back like we've been saying, and like guys want to get to that next level, and like you can tell that that guys are playing. It's not like a joke, and it's not
Yeah,
like you're just like
absolutely.
playing just to play. Like people want to go somewhere. Like some people like want to like stay home, stay like near their hometown and everything. But there's a lot of people, like you said, in the league that just want to go on to the next level, whether it be the Fed, SB,
Absolutely.
Coast. There's guys
Yeah.
like Logan Lambton playing the American League right now from the
Yeah.
mill. So it whatever you got, what you want, like you just got to go for it.
And that's the thing. I feel like in this league, you can either stay home and you can continue playing, or you can make something of it and really get the certain little things that you need. Even, when it just comes to like film or, working on certain things, getting a little more extra ice time to develop yourself and to work on just a little things. Like, I feel like that's just will take you so much farther. But this league, I feel like there's so much ability to grow. And I feel like that there's so much ability for it to be noticed and seen as a feeder league to the higher levels.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if there's anything that the league should do better, like what would you say that the league should do better on?
Um, I mean, I don't know how every team is. I mean, I know a lot of them drive, but I mean, transportation, I feel like that would help a lot more, especially with like away games and, not everyone, especially with other teams, like there's been other teams in the league, including ours, where like we'll go to an away game and we won't have our whole entire team. We'll have a home game, we'll have our whole entire team. You know what I mean? So like it's hard sometimes to like take that win or like that loss because you're just like, I didn't have my whole team or they didn't have the whole team.
Yeah.
So I feel like if transportation was provided, like busing, um, I feel like that would help a lot. I feel like that would get a lot more players to like go. But I mean, like the drives aren't too crazy to the point where it's like, okay, we need busing. Like it's
Yeah.
manageable, but still, you know what I mean? Like you get into the Fed, you get into the SP, you're taking buses. I mean, like if you want to be known as like a semi-professional league wanting to move on, you know what I mean? I feel like they have to like do that a little bit, maybe I feel like I feel like their marketing, I guess you could say, could be better because obviously fans for games and stuff. But I feel like everything that I'm saying, I feel like is just slowly starting to like happen, and like
Yeah.
they're already being worked on. So like it's hard to like say things that like the mill could do differently because I feel like that it's already happening. So obviously there's things that you like and you don't like, but I mean that's just a part of it. You just have to kind of push
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah, exactly. And like I've definitely noticed that like everything from even from last year when I first found out about the league, like everything's progressing, and like even from like the spring to where the season is at
Yeah.
now, and like
Yeah,
there's stuff that's progressing, like the marketing is getting better. Like I know a lot, like I love Gaylord's marketing on like their Facebook and everything, just how like their graphics, they're doing like stuff within the community. Just I love like the marketing there, and just it's all about getting like people out and getting
yeah,
people to
absolutely.
support the team.
Yeah, and with that's the thing that we do with our coach Miles Griggs wants us to do that. He wants us out in the community. He wants us, going to places, giving them our poster with our game schedule on it, or just like that weekend's game poster, and
Yeah.
saying, hey, we got this game so and so this time. Love to be there, whatever. Invite everyone you want, type deal. But we even have places up there like bar and restaurants. We have bowling alleys that sponsor us that we go to, before games, after games, and like, they love it. They're super supportive of it, which is nice. And I feel like not all teams have that. Um, like I feel like sponsorships is a very large thing
Yeah.
for it, especially will help you get, team things and like cut things down so you don't have to like pay. Like I think Muskegon fully pays for everything, like gear, bags, everything. They pay for everything. Up in Gaylord, we get every single thing for free. It's
Yeah.
Miles knows us, and we come there and we put in the work. I understand that it's different, but I mean like that's just it's a simple sponsorship that'll get you that. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's really not that hard to get one. You have to want it, and if you get it and you want it, you're gonna get it no matter what. So um, back to what you said as well, another thing that the league could change, I'm thinking about it now, is the reffing. My goodness. So like it's not particularly that like the refs are bad, but like there will be like weekends where like the teams won't even schedule refs. And so then the
Yeah.
games will just get canceled. And like that's happened like multiple times. And I feel like that that should just not be happening. You know what I mean? It's just a
Yeah.
little ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's just like you go up to an away game, you want to play a game
Yeah,
because you're
absolutely.
traveling and
Yeah,
all
we
that.
had we had that once last year. We were going to play the Warhawks, and it was like I believe it was like snowing out. It wasn't like super bad, but like we took the drive all the way there, and for the boys that are all the way up in Gaylord, it's like almost 4 hours for them, and then for like us in Grand Rapids, it's like 2.5, 3. But we drove all the way there, and then as we were like pulling in, we got like notification from them, like we get inside, and like they're like, yeah, we don't have refs. Um, so I don't even remember what we ended up doing. I don't even think that I can't, I don't even think we had an actual game. I think that we had like two of the Warhawks like cut players just be refs. We just did like a drop in game against each
Just
other.
a little scrimmage.
Yeah, like just put a 30 rack in both rooms, and all right, let's just go and make something of this at least since everyone's here now. So that was kind of unfortunate, but I mean, like it's just like little things like that. I feel like just could be so easily avoided.
Yeah. I also like how you said like sponsorships and everything. Like I've found out that like it is like a lot based on like sponsorships, whether you like
Absolutely.
with like ice time, like getting refs in the game in the arena, all that, just to have the cost go down a little bit. Like
Yeah,
just sponsorships are huge.
yeah, especially with ice, because obviously everyone knows ice time isn't cheap.
Yeah.
So it's like you get one sponsorship to like kind of cover that. Like I don't really know how. Like, do you guys practice during the week at all? Like, do you guys like
No,
once, twice?
we just go like to like drop-ins if
Yeah,
like drop-ins are open.
right. So like with us, we've always been a Friday night practice and then a Saturday morning. I think Muskegon practices on Thursday nights. I think that's it, just once. But it's like maybe if you had sponsorships, if that's the case, or you just can't get the ice time, but it's like
Yeah.
that also cuts the cost of it. It also cuts the cost of, you know, people that are might be going out of their way to still come play, to want to get somewhere. It's another incentive for them because it's like
Yeah.
you're going somewhere that is well taken care of. You can tell that the ownership cares, they care about their players, they want to take care of them with everything, jerseys, gear, helmets, sticks if they can. So it's like I feel like even having that covered in a sense would help a lot. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I feel like it's starting to get there, but not every single team is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess it's expected, out of a first, second, third year league that's fairly new. Um, but whoever's doing it for us, they're doing a fantastic job. So
Yeah, there's always going to be those aches, those growing pains and all that just with it, especially since it is a newer league, but like
yeah,
from, but it is progressing, so that's
yeah,
all that really matters.
yeah. That's just the nicest thing about it. You like to see that instead of it, kind of go not go
Yeah.
downhill. So
Yeah, exactly. But you like you said, you spent 2.5 years in Gaylord so far. It's like, when did you, or like, how did you sign with Gaylord in your first year in 2020, 2021?
So I was actually playing for Muskegon because I'm in Grand Rapids. Muskegon's only 30 minutes for me, so
Yeah.
technically, like that's like would be like my hometown home team. And I was just personally going through a lot then when I was playing with them, and like they just quite didn't understand that. And so it just kind of turned into like butting heads, and then just like not seeing eye to eye, and then I just stopped, just quit. I was like, I'm done. I'm not
Yeah.
dealing with this anymore. Like I don't even know how old I was then. I would have had to have been 23. I was like, this is a joke. Like I'm not dealing with this. I just would rather work for right now and just focus on that. And so that happens. I leave. I go home. Next day, I get a call from Miles, and he was like, "Hey, I heard that you were released from Muskegon. I was wondering if you would want to come play with us this weekend." He's like, "We'll cover all your gear and everything, and we'll give you some gas if you want to come up here." And I was like, "Oof." Didn't really know. Like obviously, I didn't want to stop playing, and it was just
Yeah.
interesting to me. But it was just from then, Gaylord seemed like it was just so far away.
Yeah.
So it's like driving that 3 hours every single weekend or every other weekend or whenever it is to at least make practices and be with the team. Is a lot, especially like during work. You know what I mean? So it's like I got bills, but I also got hockey. So it's like I want to advance, but I also have to take care of myself
Yeah.
in other areas. So like you have to find like a happy medium and a balance in between. But then I just decided to go up there that weekend and play with them, and I just had a blast. And that's when Logan Lambden was still on there, and his brother Cade, and we had Ben and all these other guys, and it was a blast, to say the least. And then it was just really good energy up there. It was, they were happy that I was there. The last time I played them, Logan Lambden actually jumped me from behind, so that was a pretty funny conversation to have right off the bat. So but yeah, no, I mean, it just started off that weekend, and then it's just been rolling ever since. It's been a good time in Gaylord, I would have to say. I've met a lot of good friends. I've made a lot of good friends from there. A lot of relationships. Last year I had probably my best season I've had there so far, which was huge for me. And, I have a lot of support up there, especially with, a couple of my close friends on the team, Evan Carroll, Nick Allen, Quentin Rosenboom. And the list is, I mean, it gets pretty high. And now Artie's there too. So it's a lot of high energy there. Obviously I don't wish to stay there. I would like to move on. Obviously I didn't really expect to be there again this season, but I take everything as is a blessing. I'm not going to sit there and like be upset about it. I'm just, this time I got to work 10 times harder and really make my spot in the land somewhere. So being back in Gaylord this year, I was named captain. So I feel like I kind of had to like adapt my role as like how I was in the previous years. Because before that we had Phil as our captain, Phil Edwards, and it's tough shoes to follow. It's
Yeah.
super great guy, super passionate about the team, and loves all the boys. And so it was my first 3 games this year. I think I only played in the first period, and I was thrown out over a lot of dumb things. Like first time I was thrown out was against Muskegon. I had a hit on one of their forwards, and it was more of like a pinch, like
Yeah.
into the boards, but he didn't have enough time to like react with his hands, so he went like face in and like
Oh.
it like cut open his like eyebrow or like somewhere around here. But I didn't know that. I just pinned him and the puck went out. So I just kept going, as the play went on and went out of zone. And all of a sudden I got the kid that's basically like my brother, Cole Emery, charging me. He plays for Muskegon. He's charging me, gloves off. And I'm like, what? What what's going on right now? And he's like, I gotta fight you, dude. And like, I'm like, for what? Like, and so that happened, fought him. I leave because I think there was like 23 seconds left in the first period.
Yeah.
So I just get off the ice. He gets off the ice. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can't believe that just happened. I'm like, I just fought basically like my best friend, and I don't even know why. And so, and like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, it has to be the hit, but it wasn't like that bad. So they come into the locker room, and Miles is like, yeah, that kid was bleeding everywhere. You cut like his whole like eye open or something with that hit. And I'm like, what? Like, I felt terrible because it's like at that moment, I then realized why he wanted to fight me. But 30 seconds into the locker room, he texted me. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I had to do that. You know that. And I'm like, no, like, you do not have to apologize. I totally get it. I did not know that even happened. Like, tell that kid I'm sorry. But I mean, and then that happened. So I got ejected the rest of the game. And then I had a 1-game suspension. They tried to give me a 5-game suspension for that. And I've never even done anything like that. I've never had, you know what I mean?
No prior experience.
No, not at all. And so like, I've even talked to the kid that it happened with since it's happened, like apologizing a bunch. I've seen him at a bunch of men's league games. Him and I are super good now. So it's like back, like when that happened, I was like, man, I understand why you're upset now, but it's like, then I had my 1-game suspension, and then next game back, we were playing the Warhawks in Detroit, and they scored in the opposite end, where our bench is over here, they're on the opposite end. They score, and one of our teammates like goes by the guy that scored, and like they kind of like bump into each other, and then like 2 other players like get on our player. So our coach is like, someone do something, because everyone on the ice is just sitting there standing. And I'm like, this is just, unacceptable. So I hop the boards, Nick hops the boards, and then like another kid, Edney, hops the boards, and we go straight past the half, go into their zone, and we just stand there, because at that point I was like basically already broken up. So like we weren't even close. We were just standing around the perimeter. And supposedly you're not allowed to go past center ice. So we got ejected for the rest of that game. And there was 4 of us that got thrown out, and we were already short benched, I think at like 12 that game. So we had 4 players thrown out. It was awful. We still ended up winning, I think by like 1 or 2, but I mean, that game should have been a lot too little, as it normally is. So definitely run into a few hiccups this year, which has kind of pulled me back from being able to, get as much points as I've wanted to, and I've, kind of set my goal to be this season. I've gotten a lot of penalty minutes. So I kind of got to, flip that around this next, like, kind of end half of the season. So I don't look, like a goon, because that's not what I want. I need people to know that I can score and put the puck in the back of the net. So
you don't want people thinking that you're just gonna go up there and scrap instead of just being able to produce on the score sheet.
And that's been something I feel like that's almost been overlooked in my game this past year, like trying to go into the Fed. Like, everyone thinks just because I'm 6'4", 220 that I'm just gonna fight every single second, and that's all I want to do. And it's like, no. I was like, I will fight, absolutely, no questions asked. But like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to do it. I'm gonna do it if it's needed. I'm gonna do it if it's to stick up for a teammate. I'm gonna do it if one of their other players is acting and deserves it. But my main priority is, creating plays and putting the puck in the back of the net. That's what I've done my whole entire life. And so I'm a forward, I'm a center and right wing, so I'll rotate just depending on who I'm with. But I mean, the number one question I get asked every single time anyone meets me is, "You're defenseman, right?" No, unfortunately not. I'm not.
So Hunter is a forward, not a defenseman.
Yeah, it's been a misconception, that's for sure. But it's something to make me laugh every time, I guess.
Yeah, that would get you a couple chuckles here and there for sure. But you talked about like your second year or your first full year was the most successful years you've had so far. So what made you so successful that last year?
I just think last year I was fresh off of out of a relationship. I was in a really, really good headspace, and I had, three of my really, really close friends. Two of them I played at Davenport with. The other one I've known for a while, and I
Yeah.
had them both of all of them up there with me, and we kind of all had the exact same goal for this coming season. We all wanted to play in the Fed or the SP, land somewhere to be out of here. So it was nice because we would stay all at the exact same house every single weekend. We'd be watching film consistently. We'd be talking about things every single time we're together. Even when we're not together, we're still talking about, different things or different plays or what move we could have made differently to make something come up better. So I just feel like last year was huge with that because I felt like it was just a lot of positivity, and a lot of we're not taking no for an answer,
Yeah.
from no matter who it is. And, we know we deserve to play at the next level, so let's go get it.
Yeah, so like throughout like those that last year and like even this year, like what have you learned like help yourself progress into that next level? Hopefully that comes soon.
Right. So, I mean, the one thing that I've learned is to not let stuff get to you so easily. Obviously you're gonna be released, you're gonna be cut, people are gonna like you, people aren't gonna like you. Um, I believe that you're gonna fit in somewhere no matter what. I just feel as if I just feel as it's harder because you don't want to necessarily like give up,
Yeah.
but it's like sometimes you're just like, man, like again. But
What
I
do I
just
have to do to go up?
exactly. So it's I think that you have to have a positive mindset
Yeah.
24/7 no matter what. If you know you're good, then you're good. I feel like the one thing that kills most people is listening um, to others' feedbacks that don't, that person doesn't mean anything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If it's coming from someone, who knows the game, then, maybe, they're onto something and you need to take a little no. But I feel like if you still feel like you have it and you're still having fun with the game and you're loving it, continue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you're able to balance everything else out in your life and continue doing this and progressing on to the next level, go for it. I think it's going to be a while until I hang up the skates. I'm 25 years old, so I still got a couple years, but I would love to obviously progress and move on. So it's like, obviously I have to do things. I have to be patient as well. That's one big thing is that I've had to learn is that you think that you're somewhere and then it's like you find out you're here. So it's
Yeah.
like, I feel like you really have to be like at one with yourself and you have to be positive because obviously you're going to have good days and bad days. But if you push and you continue to want the better days, if you do, what I always tell myself is if you do good, good will come to you.
Yeah.
So it's a big thing for me because I try not to be negative, and that's one thing that I try to help my team with a lot this year too. Is in like certain little areas or certain spots where it just could be getting annoying. You just have to push through it, and I feel like it's a lot harder for people, including myself, to like kind of see the light, out of the dark, but it's there, and you just got to keep pushing it. And if you feel it in yourself, then why would you stop ever?
Yeah. If you have a dream and a goal to get better and move up and
Absolutely.
play to the highest level you can, don't let anyone tell you that you can't. Just keep going and
Oh,
like
absolutely
you
not.
said, good things are going to happen to good people eventually.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like we're all at that age where it's like you have to hold yourself accountable. You're not
Yeah.
going to have your coach sitting there holding your hand. Let's
Yeah.
do it. No, like off season, it's you. It's all you. Even in season, it's still you. You still have your coach's help and whatnot, but you're the
Yeah.
one that has to produce. It's like you always kind of have to like check on yourself and make sure that you yourself is good because like you're the game changer for your
Yeah.
own self. So it's like you create what you want, and it's like if you're gonna want it, you want to go for it, then go for it. But if you're not, then don't. Because there's a lot of people that are sitting right behind you that want that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And like I feel like when we're younger, like we just expect to just be somewhere right away. Like I
True.
had that thing where it's like at like 22 right now, I wanted to be somewhere, but like I'm
Yeah.
not there yet. Like there's always forks in the road and
Yep.
just adversity that comes and goes. You can't give up. You just got to keep doing it, keep being disciplined, like you said, like off season train as hard as you can, just be the hardest worker out there. And then
Yep.
in season, you still have jobs to do, and you just gotta control what you can control.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like that's part of the journey and part of the like embracing the grind and everything. Like it's a process for sure. It's not an easy one. That's 100% sure. But if you're gonna keep going with it, uh, the journey is just the beginning.
You got to embrace the suck.
Exactly. That's what I don't think a lot of people, including like myself, and I'm sure you as well, like at the beginning, like you're like, I want to be here, but like you got to
Yeah.
embrace every single thing that's thrown your way.
Yeah, and that's like one thing that I've taken as like this season as is that, as I was released and I wasn't, in the Fed right off at the beginning as I would like to be and whatnot. It kind of upset me, but then it's like again, it's like why would I let that upset me? It's like they
Yeah.
don't want me. I'm gonna find a spot somewhere else no
Just
matter
go
what
get
because
better.
I know I belong there. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep working and I'm gonna keep pushing myself and I'll be there.
Pretty much like embracing the suck and embracing like the grind of everything, because nothing it really isn't that easy, especially like when you get like released from camps, like get cut from teams, like it sucks, like let's be honest.
Yeah,
So like how
yeah,
do you like embrace that grind and embrace the suck, and because it is all a process and a step in
right.
the journey.
So it's like when I was released from Motor City, it kind of made me like take a step back. Not necessarily to the point where I wanted to be done, but it was just kind of like, okay, I thought that I had a pretty good shot at making the team. It's like now I got to figure out, the little things that I have to, work on to make myself get to that next level,
Yeah.
to make myself land, that roster spot. But it's rightfully earned, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like nothing's free, like you were saying. So it's like you really do have to, bag yourself to get to where you want and really put in the work because if you do, I believe it. I believe it. If you do, you put in the work, you're going to get to where you want. And I've seen it happen. I've seen multiple people do it. This kid who I was skating with this summer, his name's Elijah Wilson. He originally signed with Knoxville at the beginning of the year, played a good amount of games with them, and then went back down to Watertown. So he was originally going to be playing with Watertown, but then right after Watertown happened, he went to the Knoxville camp and he made that. So he, from there played with them, got brought back down to Watertown. Now he did good. He didn't do bad at all playing up,
Yeah.
and then now he's back in the Fed with Watertown, and he's doing great for them. So he put in a lot of work this summer. I'm pretty sure he was skating like every single day. He was getting that ice time with, a certain amount of people, a few coaches, kind of like helping him better in certain areas, skating wise, shooting wise, all over. And so it was nice because I was able to, go to a few of those skates and, if I were to have that, which I would like to have that this summer, I would really like to push to be on that exact same schedule that he was on.
Yeah.
Hey, the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? Because we're adults. Like we said earlier. So it's like you got to put in the work to get to where you want. You can't really just expect to have it. Um, and one thing I think that I've kind of worked on more is not, I guess, setting my expectations so high. So then it's like, you go there and it doesn't work out, then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, all right, back to the grind, let's figure it out. But even when you're there, you're still grinding, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
grinding every single day to keep your spot. So it's like an endless grind, but it's like you have to love the game to want to continue doing it. You know what I mean? Like I feel people can get pretty uneasy by getting let go from somewhere, and then they could just be like, oh, well, that's it, I'm done. Well, no, not at all. That's just your own mind telling you you're done. You got to be positive. You got to go back. You got to think, and you got to figure out what you did wrong in those little certain areas, correct them, make sure that you do that all of that season where you're at playing wise, and then go into the next, tryout camps, improved and showing them that, you have that ability to, play at the next level. So for me, it was a lot. of, what I just said, but, looking into, this coming next season and, like my training and off ice schedule, I really want to be content with it. And I really want to be, drilling myself all summer. And I really want to go to, at least 3 SB camps and, maybe 2 or 3 certain Fed camps that the, teams that I would actually want to play for. So it's really, at the end of the day, it's up to you. You got to put the work in and you have to, have the love for the game. And I feel like there's
Yeah.
so many people that are still out there that have that and that are still chasing that dream. And it's amazing,
Yeah, it's all about like adjusting to like the different like circumstances, whether
Yeah.
that be like you get released from a team, like you could have two options: get back to work or
Yeah.
get super down on yourself and be like, I don't want to play anymore. But like just adjust to that option, like and just
Yeah.
like I was in Motor City's free agent camp and got released from that camp. And I was like, I'm pretty sure the next day I was literally on the ice getting back to work
Yeah.
on what like I was told that I could do better and like
Right.
just focusing on like those aspects of it and just grinding because I have the love for the game. I know you have the love of the game and we
Yeah.
both want to get to that next level and just gotta grind. And even if you're at that level, it's still a grind. Like you said,
Absolutely.
your spot is not
Absolutely.
guaranteed. It can be
Mhm.
taken within hours of
No.
you getting there or within
Yeah.
weeks or days.
Yeah, that's one thing I've realized in the Fed too is that there's a lot of transactions that go
Yeah.
on all the time. You could have one bad game. You could not fight when they tell you to fight. You could just not be producing the way that you should be and gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like they're cycling in guys as much as, they're letting go guys, obviously. So it's like the opportunity's there. You just have to kind of find the right spot and the right timing for it, where you think yourself will also fit in. So it's like you just can't give up. That's just literally the biggest thing. You have to just keep pushing and keep telling yourself that I will get there and
Yeah.
eventually you will.
Yeah, and timing is also a big thing because
Mhm.
like it may be not be the right time. The team may not you may be good enough and good to play at that level, but the situation, the timing's not there. Maybe they're not looking
Yeah.
for a fighter if you're a fighter, a goal scorer, a playmaker, whatever the role is. Maybe they already have two of their goalies signed. Like you may still be good enough to play there,
Yeah.
but the timing is just
Yeah.
not right.
That's one of the biggest things that and you're so correct on that. It's like timing is impeccable, especially in the Fed being, at certain areas at certain times. So it is what it is. You just got to get back to work and you just got to stay positive and, keep pushing and putting yourself out there. And eventually you'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. And like we've talked this entire episode about like trying to just get better and be the best player you can be. It's like what's like the biggest tip you have for players looking to get to that next level, whether it be like whether youth to high school to college, college to pro, anything like that.
So the biggest thing is you just have to give yourself that accountability.
Yeah.
Um, at the end of the day, you go to sleep by yourself, you wake up by yourself, unless you have a girlfriend, whatever, wife. But you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So it's like at the end of the day, it's you and you.
Yeah.
It's either you're gonna be happy with yourself or not. So it's like if you want to continue, the biggest thing is that you can't let negativity cloud your mind. You have to be positive. You have to surround yourself with people who want the same thing and who see it in you as well, that want to bring out that best player in you. But another thing is just not, letting maybe a certain like cut or,
Yeah.
not doing something right affect you and like bring you down. Because if anything, those should be positives and those should be things that build you and make you stronger, So you just got to keep pushing and I think that what you want to happen will happen if you actually care and you put the time and effort into it.
Yeah, exactly. I love that advice and like even if like you're going up the levels, you still gotta grind, still gotta work, still gotta
Absolutely.
be accountable, like you said. And it's all about the journey and it's
Yep.
about like it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So I believe this is a great place to wrap this episode up. So Hunter, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time and I want to wish you the best of luck with the rest of this season. I look forward to playing you guys sometime soon.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. It was nice to talk to you. And I unfortunately we're not playing against each other this next weekend, but when we do, it'll be a good time for sure.